Well, there's the main part of the falls. Made it to the Dells Mill. Let's check this place out.
1919, when the first cement dam was put in, they brought this flour mill right here, this right here.
Alright, heading out today. As you can see, there's still some snow on the ground from last week's storm. We got 14 to 16 inches. Mostly gone. Supposed to hit 70 degrees-ish today, so we're going to get out and get a little ride in. Back to 45 tomorrow, so, you know, springtime, ride when you can. We're going to go check out Big Falls. That's usually pretty cool this time of the year with all the snow melt going on. There should be some good water flowing in the river. Get a little video of that. And then we're going to go down to one of the most photographed places in Wisconsin, the Dells Mill and Museum. So come on along for the ride. We're busting up through Eau Claire on the highway here. The goal is to get to the north side of the Eau Claire River, which we're going to cross here in just a minute, and then we'll head east on Q and Double Q. Work our way over to Big Falls. Alright, working our way along the north side of Lake Altoona here. Checking things out. Haven't been down in this area in a little while. A lot of homes in this area. Continuing to work our way east on Double Q. Over towards Big Falls North. Let's go for a walk and check it out. It's not exactly smooth walking on this. See the river splits here on an island, but look at the amount of ice that's out on that island. It has to be 5 or 6 feet thick. You can also get to this from the other side of the river over there. There's some pretty good beaches in the summertime and very popular swimming and party hole. It's probably the most impressive part of the falls up there. Keep going back to that ice, that's pretty cool. I actually expected the water to be ripping over this quite a bit more than it is today. And kind of a gradual snowmelt this week is probably contributing to it not getting too out of hand. Well, there's the main part of the falls. Big chunk of ice that got pushed downriver here at some point this spring. It's going to take that a minute to melt. So the rocks here are kind of special. This is a form of rock called gneiss. Not like it sounds like it's spelled. It's like G-N-I-E-S-S or something thereabouts. I can put it on the screen if I got that wrong. But it's over 1 billion years old. So this is some of the oldest rock in the state of Wisconsin. All right, so what do you think about the falls?
Lots of water coming through this spring. Fun to see the ice that's up on the middle, up over here, where it's crashed in and working on melting.
The force of water that's pushed it down here is pretty cool. So it's nice to get off the bike and stretch for a minute, but it'll also be nice to get on and continue our journey here. So when are you going to get your bike, honey?
That's a very good question. When am I going to get my bike, honey?
I don't know, when they get the PPF installed on the fenders. She's ready to go. Meanwhile, we're 2-upping again today. Just like the old days. So how many days can you go on a motorcycle ride and hike in the snow on the same ride?
Ugh.
It doesn't happen every day.
I'm walking the slush like a duck.
It's a little sloppy.
This was like senior skip day before we were seniors. Okay, yep, dating ourselves completely, but gone for 35 plus years and here we are, back again.
There we go. We did have a senior skip day down here.
Yes, we did.
Might have been a couple beers involved, but you know. It was actually legal back then to drink at 18 years old in the state of Wisconsin. Well, working our way east and south a little bit over towards the Dells Mill. Big Falls was pretty cool, kind of a neat stop. It wasn't ripping as much as I thought it would be today, but it's all right. It's always a beautiful spot. There is a $6 county park fee to use the park, but no. Got to support it, so it's all good. Alright, coming up to the Dells Mill here. We're north of Augusta a little ways on 27. It's just a couple blocks off the highway here. And we'll get down here and tell you a little more about the place. Alright, made it to the Dells Mill. Let's check this place out. The Dells Mill was built in 1864 during the Civil War. It was built to grind wheat to support the wartime economy. So there are 5 stories here, and we'll get around the other side and show you the mill wheel, and actually an interesting fact about that as well. So we're inside the Dells Mill here, and we're going to take a little walk around with Herman, who's the owner, and maybe tell us a few stories about some of the things in here and describe things for us. I prefers to stay off camera, so we'll just highlight some of the items and go from there. So you'll hear his voice as we go.
11 years ago, we bought the mill here and been restoring it and getting it back to operation. And so when we bought it, the mill had not been, the roofs were leaking, and the dam was falling apart. The water wheel wasn't turning. The turbines had not been running for 25 years. 2 years ago, we got the turbines back running again. It was a log dam in 1864. Here's a picture of the log dam. 1864.
Oh, sure, sure.
In 1919, the log dam was failing, so we take the log dam out. Yeah. So they took the log dam out and put the first cement dam in. You see, here's the first cement dam. There's 2 gates in the dam here. There is, this gate goes to the turbine, and this is the floodgate here. So the turbine sets under the mill right here, and like I said, the turbine had not been running for 25 years. 2 years ago, we got the turbine going. As the water wheel, we built the water wheel 6 years ago, but we cannot mill in the winter with the water wheel. It freezes over.
Okay.
Or it freezes over, and also on the wheel is off balance. So we could not mill in the winter. Now we got the turbine going, now we can mill in the winter. But in 1919, when the log dam was taken out and the first cement dam was put in, they put the turbine in. So there was many years with no turbine. But I mean with no wheel.
No wheel. Yeah.
Wheel. The wheel that was here was just for decoration, never did any power. So that was not turning anymore. So 6 years ago we built this wheel here for power. We could get about 50 horse out of that. As power for milling stuff.
That's 50 horse. That's quite a bit. Yeah, more than I would have expected.
Yeah. So, but we could not mill, so we got the turbine going, so we can use the turbine. Now in the winter, we can mill in the winter. Notice these big timber in here. These big timber up here. Full length and width of the building. Upstairs, the full length of the building. All done with a broad axe. See the axe marks there?
Oh, sure.
Axe marks. It was all done with broad axe. The second tool from the ceiling down over there is a broad axe. Here. Yeah. That's a broad axe. That's what they would use for doing it. These saws was what they use for cutting the trees down. Here.
Nice.
These are all a lot of old tools. Notice there's no plastic tools. This is all tools before the plastic age. Here's a rope maker. You hook 4 strings onto there. You turn it, twist it into a rope.
Oh, cool.
Drills for drilling holes in the big timber for running wooden pegs.
Yeah.
All mortise and tenon.
Yeah, all mortise tenons and wooden pegs and no nails in the place.
Nails.
Yep.
Millstone. Here's a millstone here. Very old millstone. 1859 millstone. It was in a mill. This Amish guy found it. Was using it. Was retiring. So he asked me if I was interested in having it here. So I bought it from him, put it in here. Originally, this mill had 3 big millstones in it. And in 1919, when the first cement dam was put in, they brought this flour mill right here, this flour mill right here. See that one right there?
Mm-hmm.
That one was brought in 1919, and they got rid of the millstones. So there was no millstone left in the property here until we bought it. I brought some millstones in to do grains and stuff like that. So you notice like those bags there, flour bags. That's how they used to sell flour. Here's a buffalo hide belts. They used buffalo hide for belts back in the day. And then they came up with this canvas type belt. Right here is canvas type belt. And now later they got V belts, but in here we're using mostly flat belts. A little bit more water today than on the average day. When the snow melt and stuff like that. This morning it was even higher, but it's going down a little bit. But we have had it over 5 feet over the dam.
Holy cow.
Back in 1993, we had 5 feet over the dam. Directly below this wheel here, way down, as far down as the water level down below, there's a turbine. So this is like the floor is a turbine room. This big room full of water. Where the water shoots down into this room. This stem here comes up, it hits the wheel, turn the wheel up here, opens the gates in here.
Oh, sure.
Let the water go in, hit that propeller. 250 horsepower. I'm going to turn it on. You might like the sound of it.
Okay, cool.
Notice the belt right there?
Yep. Well, is this all just from water going through that turbine? You can feel the rumble of the floor. Yeah, that's impressive. 250 horsepower, if you didn't hear that. That's incredible.
Here is a little bit of work, a diagram of what when we worked on the dam. There again, a picture of the log dam. Blueprint, or a form for the first cement dam. Blueprint for the first cement dam. Spikes for a log dam, putting the logs together. Rebar for 1919 dam, and then 2018 epoxy coated. We used 500 ton of sand and gravel, 4 semi-loads of bags of cement, 6 ton epoxy coated rebar, and 10,000 ties, like these ties right here. And here's a little bit of a diagram how this was all filled up with concrete. This is like the form. This is like the old dam. And we poured the concrete into there. Again, there's some pictures of what it looked like when we were redoing the dam, or before we redid it. So we took 3 feet off the top. Jackhammered all the loose stuff off the face, the back, anchored rebar to the face over the top, down the back side. Then we put forms up, poured concrete, moved them up, filled moorings, finishing off at the top here. Sand and gravel, the mixer, the bags of cement. Somebody said there was still part of the old log dam in there when we were working on the dam.
Huh.
And 2 of my boys are pretty good swimmers, so they dove down in there. I didn't hardly believe it was still part of the log dam in there, but sure enough, part of the old log dam, they ripped a few planks off. Actually, here is one actual plank with it. One of the planks.
It's 160 years old or something.
160 some years old plank, yeah. So that there was back in 1930, how they were bringing the grain in 1930. Less than 100 years ago. They would bring it in here, and that's in the front of the mill here. And then this is a scale right here. I've got too much stuff sitting on the scale here. If you look at the scale here, this is a scale, how they bring it in here, weigh it on the scale here. And then back here is a hole in the floor. You come into that hole, and it slides down into the elevator. Here's a picture of the elevator, or here's an elevator right here. The elevator would take it upstairs to the bin. Like these are elevators and these are chutes. What they would use on the Oregon Trail, like on the Oregon Trail, or the like Loringale's Wilder would have traveled on something like this here. If you notice, looking kind of in the inside, it's very narrow. I always imagined they were a lot wider, bigger than this, but they're not very wide inside.
No, in the movies they all look wider.
They look wider, but they're not really that wide. This is an old wagon or a buggy that they would use in New York City. The cover wagon was back in the 1864 era, about the same time the mill was built here. This would have been used like in New York City, about that 1864 era.
Well, thanks a good deal for taking us around in here. Appreciate your time and showing me around. This was cool. I'll definitely feature a bunch of this in our video. But yeah, 5 stories here, which you can't really tell from the other side. And the wheel that generates 50 horsepower, if you heard him say that. And then there's the turbines underneath there. They put water through those, 250 horsepower. So you can grind a lot of wheat into flour at that rate. Again, thanks to Herman. Thank you, Herman, for showing us around. Very much appreciated. Back on the road, making our way through Augusta, but wow, what a cool stop. I wish I could tell you every stop will have some cool video and somebody giving us a private tour. We'll do what we can to feature that place. Herman did a great job of showing us around with an awesome level of enthusiasm, so pretty cool. Now we're going to get out and ride a bit, just kind of enjoy what's turning into a gorgeous day. Despite the snow you see, it is 66 degrees right now. Snow is really melting this afternoon, just running through the fields and the ditches. Won't be much left after today. Good, hopefully that's the end of it for the year, but wouldn't be shocked if we had another storm or two, hopefully just no big ones. Take a couple inches that melts same day, that's fine. You can deal with that. We're ready for the riding season to be here and stay here. Alright, heading south on County T off from Highway 10 and working our way down towards Hickston eventually here, and then we'll start back north from there, but just out enjoying a beautiful day. If you're watching the video, it probably looks cold out. It's not. It's not at all. It's beautiful. I think this area we're heading down into literally had 2 feet of snow last Sunday, so 6 days ago. You can feel the warmth of the sun and the cool of the snow in the ditches sort of all at the same time. Running County B, west of Humbert now in here. And this is a beautiful section of these knobs and hills in here. I always like this piece of road. Get some deer right here in the ditch. Out in the field. We came through Old Stagecoach Road. I don't know if I've ever been through that road before. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have not, but kind of wound down through the hills between Humbert and Hickston, and yeah, it was pretty neat down through there. Double F between Hickston and Osseo. Kind of parallels Highway 94, but beautiful hills down in here. Officially made it through the break-in period on the bike. Popped it into sport mode now. Definitely feel it's more responsive that way. Even the exhaust note sounds better. Stopped at Jamie's Last Resort, quenched our thirst a little bit. This is a named road I can't really even pronounce the name of, but it's one that I found last summer. Kind of a neat little cut through. What a fun day to be out riding, when you can be riding when it's this warm, and you know, when you look out you feel more like you're snowmobiling. Kind of, it's a little different. Beautiful. So this is one of my favorite roads roads from last year, double O. And it works all the way from E back over to Strum, basically. There he hits D before Strum, but and it just winds and rolls through the hills for a few miles. A couple different segments of it here. And the pavement's in great shape. And had to check it out this year. It is, like a lot of stuff this time of the year, full of sand. Really full of sand coming up over that hill. Don't want to outrun what you can see this time of the year. But it is beautiful back in here. Over the hill on D north of Strum and on the home stretch now. What a surreal day to be on the bike. What a blast. Just beautiful temps. Never once cold, but yet looking out at a ton of snow in the fields and the ditches. So doesn't happen every day. Just kind of enjoyed the uniqueness of it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.